Dream a little dream of me. What does it mean to you to give space for yourself to dream? I often hear this from my clients when they're in the design phase of their action steps after a coaching call. I hear, I need to give myself time to dream. And it's funny because I could go a little deeper with them. This is something I just realized in asking, what does it really mean? How do you give yourself space to dream? I think we often misconstrue this with either sort of doing some set writing exercise or brainstorming, all important things. Especially when we're outlining and we know what it is we want to achieve. That's where we're setting our intentions. But I propose that dreaming is something quite different. I propose that dreaming happens in a different part of our brain than intention setting. And I think it's just as important. I don't know that we allow or give it the value that it really has. So, what does it mean to you to dream? You see, we use our brain in 3 different ways. We can concentrate, which I believe is right up in here. You can almost feel it. We can meditate, which I think is way far back here. Or we can contemplate. And I think that dreaming happens when we allow ourselves to contemplate. So what is contemplation? It's kind of this halfway thing between meditation and concentration. It's where we actually allow thoughts to come up and we allow things to dance and play. We don't hold on to them. We don't try to figure them out. Although quite a bit of problem solving, it's quite imaginative when it happens in the contemplation stage. You see, imagination and magic, they come from the same root word of ma, which is all about bringing things into matter. Now, I had this thought yesterday when I actually just allowed myself to go into a reverie. I was sitting in our front garden in this very kind of romantic looking dory that we have there. And I could feel the sun on my face and the birds chirping, and I just let my mind go. And what happens for me is I start to see these visual images, these symbols, and I have these aha moments. In the work that I do as an appreciative inquiry facilitator, we have an entire phase of that process called the dream phase. And in this phase, we ask our participants to play with concepts and we ask them to create visual images. Now, these are people that don't necessarily consider themselves artists or performers, but we get them to come up with a creative way to express what they have just discovered. And that is seriously where the magic happens. When we see these visual images actually come to fruition, come into matter. I was thinking a lot about this story that I heard about this German chemist. His name was August Kekule. I'm not probably saying his name right, so I apologize. And he was studying to figure out the chemical structure of benzene, and he was working really hard at his journals and his notes and using this analytical part of his brain. And he had to give up in frustration, and he gave himself a rest, and he went and dozed off by the fire, just kind of watching the embers and the flames. And in that dreamy state, he saw the image of the Ouroboros. And if you're unfamiliar with that image, you can look it up, but it is the image of a sort of like a serpent eating its tail, and it has all sorts of symbolic connotations. Well, from that, he absolutely jumped up and then went back to that analytical part of his brain and solved what he was looking at. He was able to figure out the structure of benzene. Now, I was also reading that only 0.6% of aha or eureka moments happen in brainstorming. 0.6%. So while brainstorming and getting our ideas down on paper is a great idea, but when we really want to download and we really want to connect, we got to give ourselves space to dream. So I dare you, dream a little, let go, see what could happen. Da 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 da